What's up, people from the tube? Welcome back to another Pancho Things. As you can see, we already got our Christmas tree going. So today we're going to be working on that other dry duck breast that I was going to work, whatever was left of the shoveler. This is going to be a different process, so let's get started. This one will take a little longer than the duck prosciutto or the cured duck in prosciutto style will take. This one is going to take a fair bit longer period of time. Now the process of this one, how we're going to make it, is going to be different. We're going to be using different ingredients and it's going to be more on a wet format. This one is going to be a wet cure versus a dry cure that we did with the prosciutto style duck breast. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to put you guys down and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so for this one, as I said, it's going to be different as the first video that I put on how to make duck breast prosciutto style. So if you haven't seen the video, I'm going to put a little link here that you can go and watch that. So in that way you can see how different. Now that one is merely a dry rub cure and then we hang it to finish the process of curing. This is going to be different and this is going to take longer. So what I have here is the same type of peppers, roasted peppers. I heat it up and roast it on the pan. But this one also have a little bit of fennel, which the other one didn't have. We're gonna have fresh rosemary, thyme, bay leaf, lemon zest. We have logically the duck this time around, as you can see, super trim, no fat, no skin, salt, and then for another part of the process we're gonna be using some wine. So the way that this is gonna go is gonna be way different than what we did previously with the other recipe. So I'm gonna move things around and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. For this one, once again, we're not gonna be using any curing compounds or anything like that. We're gonna be using just straight out salt. I already tear this up for the weight of the container. The reason why we need to weight this, the amount of salt that we're gonna put needs to be based in correlation of the meat, versus when we did the other duck we used salt. We just use a good amount of salt, we dry out all the moisture and then we clean it, pat it dry, hung it. This is gonna be different, so for this one I need 3% of the weight of the duck. So in this case it's 3.7, I'm gonna call it 4 to make things simple. 3% of 4 will be, 10% of 4 will be 0.4. That 5 will be 0.2, so we're gonna call it 1.5. 0.1.5 on salt for the amount of duck that I have. So knowing that, I'm gonna grab my container, I'm gonna tear this off real quick. Okay, we're there. So 1.5 of salt. That's what we're looking for. There we go. That's about it. So we're gonna grab my salt. I'm gonna take the scale, we're not gonna need the scale for now. I'm gonna use my trusty Ziploc bags. Now, if you can see, I'm gonna be using a huge Ziploc bag. Alright, so the reason why I'm gonna be using this bag is because I'm gonna put the duck with all the spices and the peppers and the salt in a plastic bag. 4 days from now, we're gonna flip it around, check how the meat is looking. We're gonna wait another 4 to 5 days. We're gonna remove all the liquid that is gonna be left in the bag. we are gonna introduce wine into the bag. We're gonna let it sit for another 5 to 6 days in the fridge. Then that comes out of there, we pat it dry, we put it on a sheet cloth, wrap it up, we put them on the fridge, and it's gonna hang there for about 6 weeks until we get the right format. So I'm gonna be explaining a little bit more as we go. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna grab actually a bowl, a little bowl here. Alright, so let's get started here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring my salt, I'm gonna bring my fennel, my juniper berries, my black pepper and red pepper, corn that has been previously toasted. Dump it there. Gonna crush some of these bay leaves. Got my thyme and my rosemary. 2 cloves. And add some crushed garlic. I got three little cloves of garlic. I'm crushing them. And there is some lemon zest in there as well. Just the zest. What I'm gonna do, we're gonna grab our breasts. I'm gonna make sure that we coat our breasts, dog breast, with the salt and spices. I'm gonna grab the second one. Now this is wild dog, as like the other video. So this was previously it was soaked in water to reduce some of the gaminess. And there we have it. So I'm gonna grab this and I'll dump that in my bag. I'm gonna clear out the bowl. Just put all the salt in there. It looks like a really small amount of salt, but trust me, for the little amount of dog that we have, this is gonna be just perfect. There we have it. There we have it. And dreams are made out of this meal. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna make sure that everything is there, nice and tight. I'm just gonna bring some of that air out. Now you can do this in a container. I don't have that much space now in my fridge because I got a bunch of stuff curing and marinating in there. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna roll this up. And I'm gonna be taking a look on that daily. Now, so here's the kicker with this. We're gonna grab this and it's gonna be put in the fridge for 5 days. We're gonna remove most of that moisture out, get all that juice out of there, and we're gonna add wine to it. Once we got the wine in there, we're gonna put it back in the fridge for another 5 days. We're gonna let it marinate on that wine and the spices for 5 days. We'll bring them out, pat it dry, clean it up, get rid of all the spices, herbs and everything. We'll wrap it on the cheesecloth and then we tie it up, goes back in the fridge for about 6 weeks. Now, why did I weigh the meat? The meat got weighed because after it's said and done and we wrap it, we're gonna have to weigh it again. And at that moment of weighing it, we're gonna write down that number and we're gonna see, we are gonna know that it's ready to consumption and that it's completely fully dry in the way that we want it. Once we lose about 30 to 35% of the moisture that's released. How do you know that? We're gonna be waiting it constantly during those 6 weeks that he's gonna be there. And once we reach the threshold where the meat has lost 30% of his weight, then that's gonna let us know that we are good to go, and voila, we get it to taste it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come back at you guys again so we can see how it looks before we add the wine, and then we are gonna wrap, hang, and then I'll come back at you guys with a second part of this video we're gonna get it out of the cloth and test it out. So there we go. This is gonna be the first part of curing dog breast. If we need to say with a technique, it will be more like a Bresaola technique, where you got the cow's appendix and just pretty much do the same techniques that we're doing here. Logically, those are different. The amounts logically are gonna be different because you're using a bigger meat. In this case, it's just dog breast. They're small, so there's not a big deal. Now, once again, a lot of people will ask, well, why are you not using curing? I normally don't use cures like Prague salt or anything like that, or cure number 1, number 2, number 3, because I keep everything on a really even temperature. The only times that you will see me use cures on charcuterie like this is when I'm working with pork. But right now, since we're working with duck, and I'm probably gonna do a couple of videos on working on beef, I kind of take the risk of going without that type of cure. Too much nitrates for my taste, so I try to keep it to the minimum. So it's been 5 days since we last added the wine, and 10 days since we started the whole process. I'm gonna put the camera down, I'm gonna take the breast out, we're gonna clean it up, dry it up a little bit, and then we gotta wrap it in the cheesecloth and go through the process and hang it just like the breast that we did prosciutto style. So today, I'm gonna put you guys here. If you remember, we put this in a Ziploc bag. So we're gonna get it out. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is take this out, and I'm gonna put it here and dry it. Oh my goodness, this smells delicious. What I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna take some of this peppercorn and stuff that are attached to the breast. So this we can discard. Alright, so now, wow, that looks great. So we're gonna pat dry this guy. Pat dry. There we go. Now we're gonna wrap it just like we wrapped the prosciutto style breast. Now the important part with this technique is that weight is what is gonna tell us where we are. This is gonna be ready when we have lost 30% or about 30% of the weight, the total weight. That's how we're gonna know that this is ready for consumption. I'll grab my pair of scissors. That would have been easier to do in the first place. So there we go. Two. So this is 1.5 ounces. I'm gonna just fold this in half. I'm gonna place them right there, and I'm gonna roll them in. Boom. Fold it. Fold it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write down in here 1.5 this one. Let's go here. Roll. And this one is 1.9. In that way I know which one is which, and then get 30% weight out of that. So we're gonna wrap it. More twine. So this one I'm gonna do a little bit different. This one, in the way that I'm gonna wrap it, is going to be I place them on there. I'll cut my twine. I'm just gonna firmly tie this. It's not necessarily has to be super strong, but I want it to be tight enough so we have a little bit of pressure on the meat. And then we close it. So we got the first part there, and then I'm gonna grab my twine again. I'm gonna go under. Just want to make sure that I don't cover the numbers so I can see properly. Pull one. Cut my twine. So this one right there. Do it again. There we go. I'm gonna leave this one because that's where I'm gonna use to hang. So we got 1.9. So this is the front. In the back, we're gonna weigh these again, but now with the twine and everything. Just two. So we got 2 even. So in the back, I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna put number 2. Number 2, and in that way, I know that total was 2, and then we gotta get the 30% weight out of that. So I'm gonna do the same process with this. So now we're gonna weigh this. This was 1.5, 1.6. So it's just added 0.01 gram. So let's put it here. 1.6. Perfect. So now grab this guy and we'll hang it. And normally with beef, it takes about a month to 2 months to get it, the whole curing process taken care of. This is a way small piece of protein, so I'm guessing that this is gonna take in between 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm gonna be checking it every week, and I will give you guys a report on where we are. So there you have it. So that's how I'm doing my duck breast, Bresaola style, marinated and preserved with wine and spices. So we're gonna hang these guys out. We're gonna be checking and monitoring the weight weekly. Once we lost 30% of the weight that we just record on these guys, we are ready to be consumed and we're ready to go. So thank you so very much for watching. Like and subscribe, share, click the notification bell so you can be notified every time that I upload a new video, and I will see you in the next one. Pancho out.